I love to hear Tilmidi 2562. What are those 80,000 servants are going to do in Islamic paradise? What are they going to do in Islamic paradise? I would love to hear again these 70,000 doors for these people who killed in the name of Allah, and in each this door they will have wives, so they will have 70,000 wives with beautiful eyes. I love to hear about them. I would love to hear about these boys who are going to be in their youth according to Surah 56, and they will be serving you, and they will never bleed, they will never get intoxicated. What are their job, what they are doing? I love to hear what is this when you say your it will be joyful desire in heaven, and it will be joyful to your eyes. What are you doing, these young boys? I would love to hear. Oh, my time is up.
I would like you to give me the references of the Quran, because I would like to write it down. You mentioned chapter 56, verse 12, and chapter 56, verse 34 and 38. Which one else you give?
I gave reference from Hadith as well. I gave Quranic references as well. Do you want me to go through them again?
Just give me the references of the Quran, please.
Okay, you are Muslim. I am not doing Quran only discussion in here.
Fair enough. I will answer, but my book is a holy book, the Quran. I would like to start with the Quran because it's more convenient to start with the holy book instead of something else.
Okay, just beware, I would expect respond to my other those 80,000 virgins, servants, those kind of things. But reference for the Quran is Surah 56, verse 19. That is where it talks about the immortal boys.
Okay.
And then in the same chapter, it is talking about virgins, these beautiful virgins. Surah 56, verse 36 to 37.
You said first chapter 56, verse number 19, and the same chapter 34 and 38.
Yeah, until 38.
And what else?
I am gonna give reference to 36, chapter 36, verse 55 to 56, but I haven't said that about. That's again these beautiful wives. I think we can start with them for now.
Fair enough. Let me check if I just wrote any of them. Let me open the Quran and
let me know when you are ready.
'56, number 19, you said? Yeah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. He's talking about the people who inherit the paradise, and they will be on couches encrusted with gold and precious stones, reclining on facing each other on beds and couches, and round about them will be servant, and they will be serving them with goblets and shining beakers and cups filled with a clear flowing fountain. And this will not give them any headache or ache, and they will not be intoxication from this drink. And there is the fruit and the flesh of fowl, and there will be a companion of beautiful with big eyes. Okay, the servant, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala create us a human from flesh, and he create angels of light, and he create jinn from smokeless fire. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for the reward of his servant who used to do good deed and believe in the oneness of God and establish prayer and guard their private part and do the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this life and they die, God would on the day of judgment and heaven will provide them with the creation of young, maybe angels, but in the shape of boys, and these boys will be servant eternally, looked after all the believer, and they serve them wherever they go. As I give you an example, as we can now make a robot and make him in a nice shape, and then he will serve us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a similar way will provide for the believer who inherit paradise a boys made of whatever Allah will, and they will serve us, and this is will be for our comfort and our delight. Uh, this is chapter 19, chapter 56, verse number 19. I will go to number now 34 and verse 34 and 38. Verse 34, it says, and 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 on it's I don't know if there's a problem with the voice because it's like doing like it's as I am in a cave or something. Anyway, uh, chapter 56, verse 34, وفرش مرفوعة, and on couches, beds raised high. Verse 35, we have created them of a special creation and made them virgin pure and undefiled, full of love for their mate equal in age, for the companion of the right hand. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, on the day of judgment, He will create virgin, the way He wish, and they will be beautiful, they will be uh, other creations than human, and but they will be provided for the human, and they are eternally they will have mate from the believer, and they will become their husband. They will become the wife of the believer. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward those people whom he wish, because in paradise there is, as the prophet say, there is 100 rank in paradise, and we differ. Each one will have a different statue in paradise, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whom he wish, he will grant this kind of women, and some believer will have the same women. If they are believers, they will be rewarded and they will be together. I will now open chapter 36, 55, 56. Give me 1 second.
You've got 6 seconds left.
If you want, you can come. I didn't have time to talk about radical Muslim. Maybe in the next round.
Yeah, you can do that in the next round. So that was the first round. That was my second round of 5 minutes now.
Okay.
So I guess my basic question was, those servant boys, which you read it in the Quran, identified as they are not gonna bleed. Okay, that's like Arabic. You are Arabic speaker. I am sure you know much better than me. I am curious to know, what are they serving? Why there is even servant in Islamic paradise? And what's gonna happen to them that they are not gonna bleed? I love to know little bit practical details of that, since Quran is well detailed, well explained. I am curious about these 72 virgins you will be provided. How are you gonna handle those 72 virgins? Of course, I did ask the question of, where is Allah in Islamic paradise? My next question is, please remember, I give you some references on this 80,000 servants, and then 70,000 servants, and then I'm gonna go to the details with those virgins. So Surah 36 verse 55 to 56 is talking about in paradise, that day we will be busy with joyful things. They and their wives will be present shade. And then when you go to the tafsir is talking about these deflowering virgins. Why? What are you going to do with those virgins in paradise? And what kind of such a gift you are receiving to get those virgins? Don't you think 72 is already too much? 72 too much. 72 is already too much. And of course you do have again Islamic traditions which identifies Surah 55, for example. Those girls are identified as untouched before them by men and genies. And also I am a bit curious about what is the plan, how big this Islamic paradise is. Those wives, those virgin wives, are not going to see one another because they are in different sides of the paradise. It talks about 60 miles wide, and in each corner of which there are wives who will not see those in the other corner. Sahih Bukhari 402. I am curious about those wives. You will be seeing their bones and flesh. That doesn't look gift at all. I am curious. I am very much curious that Hadith talks about what actually Islamic paradise offers to men. Okay, here's the Hadith. Tirmidhi 2550. Allah's messenger said, indeed in paradise there is a market in which there is no buying or selling except for images of man and woman. So you just go and buy images of man and woman? Is that like pornography class or something? So whatever a man desires an image, he enters it. So in paradise, there are men's. Okay, so where are those women beside like being those virgin wives? That's 72 virgins. Where are other devoted Muslim women? Where are they? It doesn't look like Allah is talking about them in Islamic tradition. Also, I would love to hear the benefits of that, but my main concern is how come while like you identify yourself as devoted Muslim, defender of Islam, you pray 5 times a day, you fast, you do all like Islamic duties, but even in these Islamic duties, that is like when you die, you are not even gonna meet up with Allah, you are not even gonna have fellowship with Allah. I find that's very disturbing, alongside of having virgins and like bad virgins. I love to know these 70,000 wives which are in each door given to the jihadis in Ibn Majah 2780. So most authentic Islamic sources are giving numbers for virgins, not the numbers you gave me in the beginning of your introduction, but the numbers of those virgins. And also I love to hear where are those virgins are gonna come. Because there is a hadith talking about 70 of them are gonna come from hell. Who are those people? My time is up.
Okay, so we don't waste time. Let's talk about chapter 36, verse 55, 56. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He say, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Inna ashab al-Jannati اليوم في شغل فاكهون هم وأزواجهم في ظلال على الأرائك متكئون. Verily, the companion of the garden shall that they have joy and all they do. And 56, they and their associates will be in pleasant shade, reclining on raised couches or beds, and لهم فيها فاكهة ولهم ما يدعون, and they will have from all the fruit will be for them, and whatever they wish to have So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and this ayah talking about the believer and their wives. He's not talking about the version you mentioned, but I accept that some Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as I mentioned, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, according to the believer and according to their deeds and this life, He will reward them and He will grant them a creation, being created version, especially for as a reward for this believer. Regarding 72 version, uh, I recognize that this hadith is only for those people who get killed fighting and the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that they have a special reward, 72 version plus if he have a wife, uh, she will be his companion as well. Regarding the shade, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talk about the shade and paradise, there will be no sun that would burn or harm the believer. And the paradise is like gardens full of shade and it's warm and people will dwell. And you mentioned that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would not dwell among his people. The Prophet, peace upon him, he promised the believer that on the day of a judgment, you will see your Lord as you can see clearly the moon, like you're looking at the moon. And there's more. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala بيقول in one verse وسقاهم ربهم شرابا طهورا إن هذا كان لكم جزاء وكان سعيكم مشكورا. This verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be among his believer and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give a pure drink to those believer as he honors them with his presence, and they will be looking at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and whoever look at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the shining light will reflect from their faces, because our God is beautiful with light and with so beautiful. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala badi'u samawati wal ard. He called himself the most beautiful of heaven and earth, the creator. On in paradise we will have the pleasure to see our Lord, the most beautiful, the creator. You asked me about the radical Muslim who get 80,000 servants. By the way, when I talk, there's no radical or extremist in Islam. The Muslim is the one who abide by what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala command him, and who fight and defend when the polytheist or the kuffar they are attacking him, and he fight to defend his family, his belief, his community, and die, and he will kill and be killed. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because he sacrificed himself and defending his honor, his religion, his family, his community, defend Islam, and work on establish the true religion, submission to the will of God. This one will be rewarded with 72 only version according to Hadith. But I don't know anything about 80,000. Regarding the servant.
Your time is up.
Okay.
Did you want to finish your sentence?
I would like that you extend the time till I cover all what you asked me about, instead of cutting it to pieces. And this is because now you might have to say the same stuff you remind me. So allow me some more time. Then later on you can take time as much as you like. What do you say?
Okay, I'll give you 3 more minutes.
Okay, thank you very much. You talk about the believer that Prophet Muhammad he advised whoever and promise whoever protect and preserve his private part and what's between his jaw, that promise him paradise. Prophet Muhammad, he promised paradise for those people who submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and stay away from adultery, stay away from backbiting other people, stay away from offender other people, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward them and the afterlife because they are pious believer who guarded their private part and stay away from following their desire, and he will reward them with paradise. And this is normal, because and shaitan came with temptation of women and everything in this life which is we can follow. So those believer who guard their sight and guard their tongue and guard their private part, their reward, it will be great, especially when you are young, between 16 years old and let's say 30 years old. Your sexual desire is sometimes it's very strong, and you might go following bad company, and you might start drinking and might lose your virginity and this kind of stuff. Those people who like guard their desire and not follow their temptation and desire, they will be rewarded in paradise. I would like to talk about the paradise. You mentioned 70,000 doors. Paradise, and according to the Quran, paradise has 8 doors only, and those doors as wide as the heaven, and they will be قال وفتحت السماء فكانت أبوابا وسيرت الجبال فكانت سرابا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, on the day of judgment, he will the sky will open and it will be doors for the believer to go to heaven, and there will be 8 doors for the believer, each door for the special category of believer, and there's 7 doors for general people, and 1 door, door number 8, it will be for as-saimun, the people who observe fasting during the Shahr
Time is up.
of Ramadan and other days.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
So I did give you extra 3 minutes, but in that extra 3 minutes you engaged only with one of my point, but that's fine.